couple of months ago, I did an Android news video here on the channel about a new law in the European Union that would require smartphone makers add a quick fax label to their products. This law is still going into effect, and it's actually going to start being enforced for all feature phones, smartphones, cordless phones, and slate tablets sold in those countries starting June 20th. But there's actually a lot of other laws that are starting then as well. And since they all impact smartphone makers in the region, I thought it would be a good idea to cover them here today. I don't actually want to spend too much time on this new change, as I already focused on those details in the previous video. So if you're curious about how these energy labels will work, then I'll be sure to link to that upload down in the video description below. And I'll have that in the pinned comment here as well, so that it's easy for everyone to find. But as you can see, you'll find things listed here like how durable it is when it's being dropped, or what the endurance of the battery is like when it comes to its remaining capacity after so many charge cycles. And you'll find details about ingress protection and its overall energy efficiency here as well. Now, some of the additional details revealed in today's announcement talk about some new rules when it comes to disassembling and repairing all of these devices. The new law is obligating its producers to make sure critical spare parts are available to the customer within 5 to 10 working days of it being first released. And those parts must continue to be on sale for 7 years after the product is no longer available in the European market, which is fantastic news for anyone who has gotten frustrated when looking for a spare battery or a replaceable glass for the front or back of the phone. And speaking of repairs, this new rule also states that smartphone producers are not allowed to discriminate when it comes to giving professionals access to software or firmware that's needed for these replacements. Something that can go a long way to making sure that we can keep using our phones even after they've been repaired. We also see some talk here about requiring smartphone makers to offer operating system upgrades for at least 5 years after they stop selling that product in the region. So if Samsung, for example, ended up keeping a phone on the market in the EU for 2 years, then it will still get 5 more years of operating system updates after that. And the EU has gone into very specific detail about how these updates need to be handled. And that requires smartphone makers to have new security updates delivered to the consumer no later than 4 months after they are released. And major operating system updates are to be delivered no more than 6 months after they are released. And this is going to be a drastic change for most, if not all, smartphone makers in the area. I would love to see this extended to everyone, but honestly, I could see companies keeping this limited to devices sold in the EU from cost increases alone. But we're going to have to wait and see how this turns out. All in all, I think just about every one of these changes are warranted. And honestly, something that should have happened about 5 to 10 years ago. Sadly, I can only imagine that this will make the prices of these products sold in the EU go up as a result. But whether that ends up being a $5 to $10 increase or a $50 to $100 increase. We're just going to have to wait and see. I wouldn't even be surprised if it causes these companies to dial back on how many phones they are releasing in the market as a result of these new rules. It would at least put less of a financial burden on them, and it would help prevent the market from being flooded with options. Options that, in some cases, are the exact same phone as a previously released one, but with a different color option or a slightly tweaked build design. But I want to hear what you all think about these new changes down below. Let me know if you think these new rules will help the market to mature over time, or if you think it will result in even more consolidation like we've been seeing. And I do want to thank each and every one of you who has stuck with me to the end of this video. It really means a lot to see these 100% watch time rates from all of you. But before you click off this page, be sure to give this video a like, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already.